You want to know what happened in Formula 1? And I want to tell you. It's this week in F1. First up, nothing illegal on Merc suspension. In a blow to some of the recent moaning campaigns in the sport, it turns out that there's a bugger all illegal on the Mercedes suspension after all. A couple of weeks ago, it was said that Red Bull and maybe Ferrari and some other teams were possibly lodging complaints about the team no one has beaten since before Vettel broke his goat nest and left Red Bull. But it's all come to naught. Reports have stated that Red Bull made the FIA take a look at said suspension to see if it was all kosher. Seems that Ferrari were not one of the complainers, as the FIA gave feedback that their investigation came back with inconclusive results and that 7 other teams have similar suspensions, including the little black horses. This would explain Mr. I will bring back the white guy mop on my head look on my own without Hugh Grant or Russell Brand's help, in Toto, saying on the Merc suspension recently. I do not see anything wrong or illegal in that. I mean, I'm even not somehow surprised the way the car behaves. Christian Horner said it will have more effect on one straight than the other. On a circuit like Jeddah, I think it'll bring them a lot. Based on what we've seen now, I don't believe it's illegal and I see no reason to make a further protest. So there's nothing more to say on the matter. Porsche reveal conditions for Formula 1 entry. A lot of excitement about VW possibly coming into the sport, and every student in a Polo and his dad in his Jetta has been talking about VW entering F1. Now the VW group has given its conditions for entering the sport. Supposedly the 3 conditions being cost, a shift towards electrification and a level playing field. Naturally, their aim is money, and there is money to be made in Formula 1, as someone at Red Bull recently told me that their Formula 1 team has been making money for the company for ages now, not costing them a cent. Porsche, however, also wants some of this cash, and they're interested in more controls being put in place, cost caps, etc. As Porsche is active in Formula E, it also makes sense that they want more electric development at the top of the racing pyramid. Thomas Laudenbach, head of the Porsche Motorsport, said, "If you look at what car manufacturers are announcing concerning the share of electric vehicles they're going to sell in the future, it's very important that Formula 1 does a shift toward electrification." He also said concerning a level playing field, if somebody, and this has got nothing to do with Porsche, I think it's a general thing, really thinks about entering this championship as a power unit manufacturer, they should always combine that with a major change in the rules so that everybody has got to make a step. You are not the only one that has to. Another horsey-badged competitor in Formula 1? I can't wait. Max and Lewis are cocky, says Formula 1 legend. Sir Jackie Stewart has never been one to mince words, speaking his mind more often than not. Triple world champion and known for his campaigning that changed Formula 1 from a sport with deaths almost every season to the relatively safe one we enjoy now. Well, the Sir may be getting old, but his mouth still is running. He said what others were afraid to in the past, and now he's lifted his opinion on Max and Lewis, calling them cocky. Well, not quite as revolutionary as his safety battles were, but rather controversial nonetheless. The original Sir said, after coming together at Silverstone and Monza, which could have injured either driver, the original Sir from Formula 1 has said that both should think more before acting. We should be careful that they don't get too carried away with the need to win a race, said Stewart. I think they're both overdoing it a bit at the moment. We've seen that in at least 2 situations. The accident that happened at Silverstone, in my time he, meaning Verstappen, would have died. I think the problem at Silverstone was that they both did think they shouldn't have done so early in the race. I think they were both cocky, but the sport has changed and it's safer than ever before. That is why there are not the same penalties. Stewart may well be right. He knows the sport better than most, and I think we have been fortunate not to have any serious injuries between the 2 competitors. Also have a look at our video on the subject. Have Max and Lewis gone too far? Link is in the description. Vettel eyeing points. Last year's pink Mercedes may have turned into this year's green disappointment. 7th in the constructors and 30 odd points behind Red Bull's B-boys were not on the agenda when they became James Bond's favorite team. Seb Vettel is positive though, saying, "I've always enjoyed coming to the Mexican Grand Prix. The fans are so passionate and the lap is really challenging, so I'm excited to get it done." I'm excited to get going. We want to pick up where we left off in the US and build up a run of point scores. Vettel has mostly had the better of teammate Daddy's Cash Stroll this season, but will certainly hope to finish the season strong, as he has said, and make up for that podium he lost when the FIA disqualified him for not finding enough fuel in his tank earlier in the season. Toto versus Horner again. So the Spice Boy has said Toto has been feeling the pressure in the title fight. Now the Totonator has struck back. I feel he is one of the protagonists in a pantomime, part of the Formula One cast, and for me as a stakeholder, as a team owner, it's great that he creates these kind of stories. People have realized they are being quoted if they say controversial things. It gives them media time, it gets their picture in the papers, but it's irrelevant. People have a microphone in front of them or a camera on them, and they start to behave like little actors, like Hollywood. Ouchie, ouchie. Once again, shots have been fired. Full broadside, and I'm sure Helmut DeMarco or Mr. Horner himself will shoot back shortly. Drive to Survive must surely be typing thank you letters to these guys. Mazepin is moving on up to the east side. I'm sure you're not old enough to know this reference, so I'm going to try and put in a video clip of the Jeffersons, which was an awesome show, and it was rerun when I was a kid. I'm not that old. In his own mind, Mazepin is moving on up. Because in the middle of Team Haas's worst ever season, with a very well known fact that he actually sucks as a driver and only has a drive because rubles speak louder than talent, Mazepin has shown just how far some rich kids may be removed from reality. I wouldn't say that I'm not in the limelight, said Nikita Mazepin. It's rather the opposite. When you come to F1, you can't choose your car anyway. For me, it was important to reach Formula 1 in the first place. Yeah, I'm sure his dad didn't buy that drive. Hopefully I can help to make the team better. Maybe I'll get an offer from a better team at some point. I didn't know his dad was planning on buying a better team. Good for him. Run Warner, run Wolf, run Binotto, run Zach Brown. Grab your checkbooks. Nikita may be available. Thought for the week. Galatians 1:10. Am I now seeking human approval or God's approval? Or am I trying to please people? If I was still pleasing people, I would not be a servant of Christ. It's easy. God gave us a book, it's called the Bible. It shows us what He wants from us. Do it, follow Christ. Don't. Well, then you're not following Him, are you? God bless you. I hope you enjoy this week's memes. Have a laugh. Unless they're lame, then don't laugh. And send me some cool ones. Just find me on Facebook. You know how to spell History F1, don't you? God bless, have a good week. I hope your team does well in Mexico. And of course, Viva McLaren, Viva! God bless and goodbye.